Hi, my name is Maria and welcome to Maria Kitchens Live. Today I want to show you how to make the Cuban sandwich. And the Cuban sandwich, the origins of the Cuban sandwich kind of depends who you speak to. So a lot of people say that it is from Miami, and some people say it's not from Cuba, and then other people say it's from Tampa, Florida. So there's actually a rivalry between Tampa and Miami on who actually invented the sandwich, and they each claim that they each did it. And they basically have the same ingredients, except in Tampa, they put salami in their sandwich. And the Miami sandwich is how I'm going to show you how to make it today. But basically, from what I've understood, it did originate in Cuba. And they claim that about 500 years ago, the Taino tribe in Cuba is the one who actually invented the sandwich. And they had a special type of cassava bread. And cassava is, like you might know it as yuca. And it's a root plant that's similar to potato that's very good and very healthy. You do have to be careful how you cook it because it can be toxic. And so the cassava bread was made kind of like a cracker back in that time period. And so I think the Cuban sandwich probably did originate from Cuba, and it just sort of evolved over time. So when the Spaniards came to Cuba, they brought pork and ham, which are the main ingredients in the Cuban sandwich. And if you wanted to see, like with Tampa, because they put the salami in their sandwich, that could have been from the Italian immigrants' side. And then there is mustard and pickles in the sandwich as well. And so that maybe was an influence from the German immigrants. So who knows really where it originated and where it really came from. But I think it did come from Cuba. And I think there are just so many different types of ingredients that you can put in this sandwich. But I'm going to do just a basic one. And so with the bread, I couldn't really find Cuban bread because we're in Colorado, and they say you can only get Cuban bread in Florida or in Cuba. So it's similar to like a French bread is what you would use. So the bread I bought today it's kind of like a French bread. It's a bolillo bread that I bought in the grocery store, and bolillos come from Mexico, but the bolillos you get in the United States are not quite what you would get in Mexico because they are actually more like French bread. So, but I thought I would use that. So you start with your bread, and then you are going to lather it up with mustard. And some people use different types of mustard. They go fancy, but from what I understand with the recipe, to just use your basic yellow mustard, and that will work. But you do put quite a bit on both sides of your sandwich. So I'm lathering this up, and I have a little George Foreman grill right here, but what you're actually supposed to use is like a little hot griddle for sandwiches, but I don't have one, so I'm gonna just use a George Foreman grill I borrowed from my dad. And then I am gonna go ahead and put the pickles on. So with the pickles, you have any kind of pickle you want to use, they say, but they use dill pickles. These are bread and butter pickles that I'm putting on there. And with the meat, you're going to put ham and pork. And that's sort of the traditional meat that you put on there. But the pork, you had to marinate it. And so I actually marinated the pork. I'm going to put the ham there. And the pork I marinated. So I bought a pork loin, and I had it marinating in different types of herbs and juices. And so I'm going to give you the recipe here in just a sec once I get that pork on there. Sorry, I'm trying not to use my hands. All right. So we've got the pork on there. And I had bought pork tenderloin. And some people put pulled pork on there. But they claim that the marinade is key. And so the marinade for about 4 servings for 1 pound of pork tenderloin, so it might be a little more than 4 servings, is a 1/4 cup of olive oil, a 1/4 cup of orange juice, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, and 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, and then salt and pepper to taste. So I marinated that overnight, and then I cooked it the next day, and it's been heated up a little bit for the sandwich. And so we have our pork, our ham, our pickles, and our mustard. And the last thing we need is the cheese. And I had put it right in front of me and I didn't even see it. So the cheese is very important. And for some reason, I've seen different versions of this recipe where they have, instead of pork and ham, they put like turkey and chicken or something like that. But the Swiss cheese has always been consistent in the recipe. So who knows? So we're going to go ahead and put that on the grill. So I've got my sandwich. Oh, and I almost forgot. So something real important we're supposed to put is butter. And you're supposed to put butter on the bread. And that also is something that didn't change with the different recipes. You want your butter on the bread. And you want it on both sides. So it might get a little messy here. I'm just going to put a little bit and call it good. So now I'm putting it on the grill and I'm smashing it. Now, if you don't have a little grill like this, or if you don't have what would be called like a plancha, which is like a grill that doesn't have the ridges like this one does, and it's just kind of straight, you can always use like your pan, and usually like a cast iron pan, and then you can put another heavy pan on top of that so that it gets kind of smooshed. And then if you don't have another pan that would fit to be on top, you could get like a brick, clean the brick really well, line it up with tin foil, and then put that on top and push down on your sandwich. So I want to make sure this gets heated through. And it's smelling pretty good. Ooh. And I think we are ready. Now, another thing with the Cuban sandwich is they say you have to cut it a certain way. Let's see if I can grab this. I'm going to keep it on just a little longer so that it gets really flat. And the ham I used was a leftover ham from Easter. So if you guys have any leftover ham, you might want to give this a shot. Whew. Okay. So now we've got our Cuban sandwich. Over here, I think you can see the ham, the pork. You definitely see the mustard and the cheese and the pickles. I should have put maybe a little more pickle on there. So they say don't cut it this way, that you're going to cut it in a diagonal. So we'll do the traditional way of cutting this sandwich. And I should have brought a sharper knife because you're going through a lot of different layers here. So there is There's the sandwich. Mine's falling apart a little bit here. And there's your sandwich. So you can see a lot of the ingredients on this one. And then this one looks like it's going to hold together pretty well. So I hope you give the Cuban sandwich a chance. Try it out. And you know, you could do it the Tampa style and put salami on there, or you could make your own style and maybe put some Pueblo chilies. I bet those would be really good. And so that's, you know, the Cuban sandwich. So I want you to try it out and see what you think about how all the different flavors fit together. Here at the library, we have a book that's a bilingual book. So it's in English and in Spanish. And it's called Sabores de Cuba, Flavors of Cuba by Chef Ronaldo. And Chef Ronaldo is a famous Cuban chef, but he likes to make things healthy. So he has recipes that in this book are diabetes friendly, and it's sort of like a new Cuban cuisine. But he does have in both languages, in English and in Spanish, the sandwich, the Ronaldo's Cuban sandwich, the sandwich cubano de Ronaldo. So what he puts on his sandwich is, instead of the French bread, he is going to use multi-grain bread. He's going to use the low-fat Swiss cheese. He's going to put an avocado and turkey and ham. And then he made a little salad to go with it. So if you want to check out some more Cuban cooking, this is a book I highly recommend. It is healthy, but that's okay because a lot of Latin cooking is very healthy for you. So I hope you enjoy your Cuban sandwich and your Easter leftovers, and have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.